wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. Well, my digital world is a little kerfluffled. I don't know whether it's the heat or... But my little laptop doesn't want to work, and my other little tablet thing doesn't want to work. So, that's what it is. Having a yummy little breakfast here. Maybe brunch. So guys, right now, it's we got the last 5 days of June. Yesterday was a new moon, so I basically didn't go anywhere. I was quiet. I didn't speak to anyone, didn't call up anyone. And I thought my other two devices were a little bummed out because they couldn't get a hold of the internet. But no, this one's working. That's why I have this one. It's my backup. Right now, we've just experienced some pretty amazing things. And I don't know why the general public can't realize that we are we are living in a soap opera being run by a game show host. And so he went over to NATO and everyone kissed his butt. And that's how you deal with the Holmes turd, is that he needs to, his ego is so, shatterable, right? But pretty much anyone who knew anything about ordnance is if you have a underground base that's 800 meters below a mountain, that little pinprick of a mother of all bombs didn't do much. But if you don't understand that this is all a theater piece, and everyone's playing a part, reading, and I've been saying this, the war, Russia and Ukraine, it's the war to the two Vlads, and they're all reading the script. And what is that script? Thank you, darling. You keep the silver.
Huh?
Here, you keep this. You keep the, I guess it's not silver, whatever, the aluminum, whatever that is. and one of these,
Thank you, sir.
start off the box. Thank you, honey bun. Oh, yeah. Woo. So, the Iron Dome, that was fine. It could shoot down, things that were being, 4th of July firecrackers, but hypersonic missiles, not so much. And Iran showed that. And yet the poor Israeli people told, oh yes, now it's safe. Yeah. I don't think so. I realized that Iran has been in plague since the 1950s. They voted in a well-educated guy who wanted the best for Iran, right? And so the CIA and Mossad and MI6, which are all basically the same entity, right? People don't realize. Go read Joseph P. Farrell's books, you know. He really describes how the world, well, the TIC is, it's a transnational entity. And Albert Pike was, you know, late 19th century, was the guy who said, okay, here we go. All the wars since have been scripted. All of them people died in World War I and World War II were just basically blood sacrifices to Baal. And I don't know what you're going to do about it, but I do know what to do about it. Your life is your life. You're not a puppet on a string. Yes, you can be threatened. Yes, you can be manipulated, but only if you let yourself, right? You don't have to be manipulated, right? Yep. So, Nikola Tesla, you know, discovered zero-point energy, free electricity to be able to be generated anywhere and transmitted anywhere. And what do you think this heat thing is? Do you think this is really... No, it has more to do with what's going on with the sun. And there are all kinds of exotic scalar Tesla weapons that magnify hurricanes, earthquakes, heat strokes, you know. And people don't want to believe. They want to keep their head in the sand. They want to watch what's on, you know, Wheel of Fortune, you know. And that's what we have as a president. We have a game show host who just reads the script. Whenever you see him talking to people, especially if he's in the Oval, giving, you know, everything he's reading it straight off the teleprompter. And he will be there as long as he's useful to the hidden hand, the big director of the game show. So, here we are. What are you going to do? You can get upset at stuff and let things get under your skin. Or you can exist in God's love's co-creation. I'm doing this with FM. My other means seem to be dead. So, how are you feeling wherever you are? I want to hear from you guys. Get a hold of me at dudeway42@gmail.com. my email. And I don't know how many more of these I'm going to do. But go back. My channel's still there. I would advise you to start looking at the past ones and whatever ones motivate you to do the right feeling. Right? And these last 5 days of June are very important. You have to be, aware. So don't be talking a lot. Just observe. See what's changing around you. Good stuff. And I'm going to, in every day and every way, take a piece of the earth and make it stronger. I'm going to feel unconditional love, whole creation, with the Great Spirit. I'm not going to worry about anything, because everything is like Donald Trump, but he's destroying the norms, right? Great, the norm stops. He is, taking out the foundation of our bureaucratic government. Well, that's great. It sucked. What it's going to be replaced with, that's going to be interesting. It's up to you. Everyone, if you can, send out a prayer for your Sensie Owl Bob, me or Kriya. Last night, after spending all day in quiet meditation, I basically had an amazing dream that I was totally conscious of. So it starts out, I'm in Ireland, and both the old crone and my teacher, Trinity, we were out in the mountaintops of Ireland between the west coast and Tipperary. And as we walked along, the sky was silvery. And the old town said, well, we are at a place where the energetics of the planet is temporally in flux with the torsion field of the universal gravitational pull. And if you want to understand any of this, you would go read Joseph P. Farrell's, one of his last books is about basically alchemy and its derivatives, right? Gold, serum, and lead. And the Babylonians realized one of the most interesting things about alchemy. You could, fool the people, right? So they brought on fractional banking, where, you would put money in the bank and you'd get like 100 0.0000% interest on putting money there. But if you borrowed money, you would have to pay like 30% interest in gold. So basically, you were taking paper and turning it into gold. And that's what our planet has been doing for the last, so many years. And that's why we're broke. Because you can only push that so far. And we could keep pushing it, but it would affect other things that we really can't control any longer. Now, I can't do what I used to do in playing stuff from my other devices onto the show. I have to tell you about it. Well, if we were to go into my channel and see all the things I've been watching, take a look at them, take a look at my past shows, especially ones that are like, 7 years ago when I started talking about the big splat. And that's what we're going to feel. And this summer, this hot spell at the east is, let's see if my phone actually works. I'm going to give my old friend, that's it, boop, boop, boop. And my little phone is not reacting nicely. Yeah, I guess that's right too. Anyway, so people are just scared and want to stick in their old ways of what they believe. And even though Freud said when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcomes, that's a sure sign of insanity. Well, the physical dynamics of my phone not working, I don't know what it is, but such is life. Okay. Anybody have any more questions? Water bottle said hi. And then he said hi. LBC, basically. Let me see. Out your beard. So anyway, in my dream, we were watching all kinds of frames of time going by, my time, things that I was involved in. And we were more or less, out of the frame of those different things we're just watching. And this one was, I was in some place, wasn't really sure what it was, but it was kind of like a resort, right? but it was more like the world's, it's where all the soap opera of the world is produced, right? And so we were, watching all of this, and there I was as a younger guy, and there I was as an even older guy. And basically, I was in this, resort of, the media world, and it was all the different media worlds, MSNBC, public radio, NBC, CBS, ABC, BBC, everybody else, all spilling out, in a time frame, all these different stories of what's going on. And you could see in the background, things blowing up, people dying, screaming, and you could watch the news describing what it was from their point of view. And it was so obviously a soap opera, right? A game show, right? And there was the orange turd, and he was, the game show host. And it was kind of surreal to watch it all go down. And, just, it's like, what? So anyway.
Okay, give me about 20 minutes.
Anyway. So I was watching this go down, and these different timelines kept kind of crossing each other. Well, now it's raining really hard. Look, it's raining hard out there. I've got my windows open. Come on, stop raining, stop raining. I don't want to go out there. Looks like it's going to keep raining, so I got to put the windows up. I'll come right back. Oh, maybe. I left the car windows up. Get out there and Anyway, I'm back. Yes, it was raining out there. Anyway, so there I was watching all this crazy stuff go on. And there were the different me's, my younger me, my older me, and me. And I knew it was a dream, and I could interact consciously. So I had so much fun, because all these different people, who weren't anyone I really knew, but were like a culmination of lots of different people. And I was just watching it all go down, and we could see on different screens, like all the stupid stuff, pudding heads in whatever government there was, basically lying, cheating, stealing, and doing really terribly terrible things, eating children, babies, you name it. And it was everybody. It was not just, those terrible, these people or those. No, it was everyone. Everyone in power basically belonged to this cabal of staying in power. And everyone, every Muslim, Christian, Jew, you name it, they were in that cabal. They were doing some nasty shit. And there were a lot of people who tried to do different things to ameliorate it, but they were either co-opted, bought out, blackmailed, or just straight up murdered. And so that was quite interesting to watch, and to see people getting straight up murdered, and then they would go bing, like a video game, and be taken off the board, but then they'd kind of float around, and they would join into the peanut gallery that me and the old croon and my teacher were at, watching everything going on. And they would, look, hey, I'm not dead, or I am dead, and I'm someplace else. So this is kind of interesting. So it was really a dynamic dream space that I had, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that yesterday I consciously stayed in the deep green, just puttered around, cleaning this, doing that, reading a bit of this and that. And I tried to do stuff on my laptop, and it wouldn't respond, and my other device wouldn't respond, but this one does, and I can reach out to you guys and tell the story. And not in such a other ways, so my style seemingly is going to change. It's going to become more simple. Just a straight up me talking to you, you talking to me. And if you want to get a hold of me, the dudeawake42@gmail would be nice. And if you want to dump anything in my PayPal, that would be really nice, because I really have nothing. I'm just finished having heart surgery, and that was okay. But now I have to have hip surgery, but I'm trying to, visualize, because I can deal with pain. Pain's not an issue. It's just mobility, right? And so I'm working on that, seeing how that works. And because nothing is real, everything is an illusion, and you can manipulate the world you want, and you don't have to be the big bad meaning, So that's kind of the storyline. There he is, the man himself. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I'm here early.
Yeah, and you think you could park a little closer to the building?
No,
Well, you hit my building, you gotta pay for it.
No.
If you're underneath the awning, the parking lot ends where the pavement does out.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, it's kind of common sense, brother.
Well, the wheels are on the blacktop.
Yeah, the blacktop is underneath the awning.
Okay. You want me
And I
to?
have peppermint growing there that you're backed up on.
Okay, I'll pull up.
Yeah, you need to pull up. That's ridiculous, Al.
Okay.
Well, ain't somebody's garage.
Okay. I didn't know the rules.
That's not a rule, dude. That's common.
Well, like I said, I put my wheels on the blacktop.
But I'll pull up. Look, look, Mom. Look where his car's parked. Go to the door and see how far back his car's parked underneath the.
I didn't either one hit my car.
Look where his car's at. That's what I said. I said, ow.
Yeah.
You don't back underneath the porch.
Yeah. I hope it's not be so loud. It's inside. I don't care. I sit outside. Be out.
There you go.
Anyway. So what else can I say? Watch out. Be conscious of your dreams. Be conscious of what you do, what you say. Be right there. I wasn't conscious. I thought keeping my wheels on the blacktop was good enough. I didn't even realize I had my car 18 inches underneath the roof. But it wasn't hitting anything, didn't touch anything. But see, different people have different perspectives. Right? And they're usually motivated by other things that happen that have nothing to do with this. Someone screamed at them about something that they had nothing they could deal with. You know, something pulled their chain to the point where, you know, they couldn't deal with it. Good day. Anyway, so what do you guys got to say?
Hi, Ma.
How are you?
You all right, Ma?
Yeah, which Sam. Oh, thank you. Bye, brother. Naturally. Come on up. Come on in.
Funny.
How do you feel?
This one have vegetable fried rice, big egg roll. We have the dough. Yeah.
12 egg rolls, 2 red curries, extra spicy. That's 56, 57, 59, 60, 80, and 1. see this. Go ahead. That's for Donald. He did 25 and they were cash only. Gonna call in, yes, the egg roll and race.
Let's go bye-bye.
No.
Let's go.
2328. Thank you very much. Okay.
Like people who don't speak the same language. You know how Americans will travel overseas and they'll get mad at the people in another country because they don't speak English. It's like that. Okay? We don't get mad at you for not speaking our language, but you get mad at us for not speaking your language, just like American tourists. So there's really no point in dealing with you. It's not going to go well. And, you know, I'm not talking about linguistic language, obviously, but the language of character, the language of morality and belief. We know you don't speak our language in this regard. And that's fine. You have your language, that's fine. But you insist that we speak your language in this regard. So ultimately, we just don't really need to mingle with each other. It's not going to work out. So if you're a non-Muslim and you support, for example, you support Palestine, okay, good. Support it. Support Palestine. You should. Stand for what's right. Denounce injustice. But don't frame that as allyship with us. You're not our allies. You're just human beings who are, in this instance, like in this situation of Palestine, choosing not to side with evil. Okay, that's your moral obligation as a person of conscience. It doesn't make you one of us. It doesn't mean that now we have to bend our principles to keep your approval. You go talk to your own people. Deal with your own folk. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to come and link arms with us. It's your own people who are committing this genocide. You know, it's your own people who pretty much committed every genocide. So you go ahead and you talk to your people. If you are genuinely against what they are doing, you have that team meeting, okay? You try to talk them out of being evil because you think it's the right thing to do. Don't make it like you're doing us a favor. There's really only one way that this can go. There's only one way it can go, and that's de-Zionization of Israel. And their integration into the region, their decoupling from America, and basically a transfer of their dependency to the Gulf. Israel will be absorbed into the corridor of influence along the Mediterranean that's controlled by the GCC and Turkey. The Palestinian territories will eventually be integrated into what is now Israel, in line with the sort of the one-state solution, where the Palestinians are going to eventually be the majority with full citizenship rights, and the whole country is going to be part of that soft empire, that regional collective sovereignty being created by the Gulf states and by Turkey. So there will be an end of the conflict. There will be the elimination of all military, the establishment of stability through regional investment and development alongside the eight national OCGFC and their investment in development and so on. That's the only way that this can go. There's really only one way that this can go. There's only one way it can go, and that's de-Zionization of Israel and their integration into the region. Their decoupling from America and basically a transfer of their dependency to the Gulf.
There we are. Well, there's one of you left. Well, anyway, I got my other device kind of working, so I'm going to try and get my laptop working. Okay. Okay? Okay. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Okay.